Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We're just working with the Palo Alto firewall. This is the very basic certification PCNSA. PCNSA. We have just complete this section. Yes, started. This section was 2.5, and today we will discuss the section 2.6, and section is identify and configure firewall interfaces. There are different type of interfaces in Palo Alto devices. Different based on requirement or based on your production requirement, um, you may need different type of interface. We learn how to configure different type of interfaces in production and test in our lab. Okay. So see here types of Ethernet interfaces. Ethernet interface type will be tap interface, virtual WAN interface, layer 2 interface, layer 3 interface, high availability. High availability will not discuss our current certification, but it will discuss in the advanced certification, high availability interface. So just see here. Ethernet interface type. This interface is the tap interface. So this is your firewall. This is your firewall. That means firewall 1 and firewall 2. This interface is the tap interface. This interface is the tap interface. And this interface also the tap interface. You want to monitor every traffic which travel from this location to internet, So just if you configure the firewall interface and tap interface, this traffic will uh, forward, or this traffic will be logged in another um, monitoring another traffic monitoring system. You can use Wireshark or TCP dump. You can port, directly connect one port, and if you monitor the other interface traffic, this interface should be configured in tap interface, and you can monitor from this interface. That means mirror traffic. This interface mirror traffic will goes to the monitoring interface. In monitoring interface, you are just connect a PC or laptop. This PC or laptop just running Wireshark or TCP dump. You can just run the Wireshark. You can get every packet of this interface. This interface type is called the tap interface. Or if you compare with Cisco, this interface is called the mirror interface. Okay, mirror interface. So this is called the tap interface. Another is virtual wire. Virtual wire is if just consider this is your firewall. This is your firewall. So and firewall is connected with your internet. This internet router. This internet router is connected with internet service provider. Okay, you just connect here. Layer 2 switch here and multiple PC. Connect multiple PC here. So to you want to combine. You want to combine this interface and this interface. If you want to combine this interface and this interface, that means firewall, an interface, and one interface in one single virtual interface. This interface is called the virtual wire. And this virtual wire, no need layer 2 or layer 3 information. Just consider here one subnet like 192.168.1.0/24. So you just configure in router interface, the gateway IP is 1.1 and PC IP will be 1.2. That means this device is working like a um, you can say like a layer 1 device, like a layer 1 device. No routing needed, no switching needed, just this device will working as per security policy. If you permit in security policy, this traffic will travel from 1.2 to 1.1, otherwise not. In some cases, you can require this type of interface, virtual wire. That means firewall, LAN, and one interface will be combined in a single virtual interface, and this single virtual interface will be work like as a layer 1, not layer 2, not layer 3, like a layer 1. But you can
Last
your
opinion.
firewall policy.
Yeah,
You can control your firewall policy, that means security policy here. Without security policy, without permission, 1.2 cannot communicate with 1.1. Okay, this is called the virtual wire. This is called the virtual wire.
yeah. What's the actual use of virtual wire?
Actually, sometimes we need this one. Like you just take a public IP address from service provider. You want to configure public IP in the server or in your PC directly. Okay, in your PC directly. Just consider this is the service provider. This service provider give 1/29 IP. You configure one IP in PC, another IP in router. Okay, another IP in router. So if you consider this firewall is a layer 3 device, so you firewall and router, there is layer 3 interface, firewall and switch, there is another layer 3 interface. So you need here layer 3 interface separate IP block, and LAN side you need another public IP block, another public IP block. So consider here your service provider just give you only single public IP address, only single public IP block, single public IP block /29. So in that case, you are just configure firewall LAN and WAN interface in a single virtual wire, and your public block /29 one interface is configured in router interface, and another IP will be configured your LAN side server or your LAN PC. If in some cases this requirement is arise, you can configure Palo Alto LAN and WAN interface as a virtual wire. Clear?
It will be more clear when we will do a lab, practical lab.
Okay, practical lab. Okay. I will show you in practical lab, no issue. So see here, this is your firewall, right?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
This is your firewall. You want to configure this IP address. One IP address is configured here, like 1.1. This is the ISP router. Okay. And
Okay.
This subnet have another IP. IP is 1.2.
2.
You want to configure 1.2 IP in the PC1.
End device,
1.2
in the
in
end
the
device.
PC1
Okay.
slash 30. Okay.
Okay.
So this firewall, if you configure this firewall, interface Ethernet 1 by 1 and Ethernet 1 by 2 as a virtual wire, in that case, you can communicate from 1.2 to 1.1.
So that means the firewall interface has no public IP.
Right, exactly. Firewall interface have no public IP. They
Okay.
have no layer 2 and layer 3
So
function.
so
Just passing
they
the
will be
traffic
working as a
coming.
L2 mode.
Yeah, clear?
Okay, fair. Clear.
Okay. Layer 2 interface. Layer 2 interface, you know this one. Layer 2 interface means this is your firewall. This interface is working as a layer 2 switch port. As a layer 2 switch port, this interface also working as a layer 2 switch port. That means this firewall is deployed as a layer 2 device. As a layer 2 device. Okay. As a layer 2 device, you can configure VLAN and others layer 2 information in firewall. Okay. So this this is all this device is switch. If you configure Ethernet 1 by 1 and Ethernet 1 by 2 as a layer 2 port, this device also working as a switch. So if you configure 1.1 here, you can configure 1.2 here, no issue. But difference virtual wire and layer 2 difference is there is layer 2 functionality exist. There is layer 2 functionality exist, but in virtual wire there is no layer 2 functionality.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Okay. Then another interface type is layer 3. It's very easy. Layer 3 interface means we already check and configured and check. This interface is configured as a layer 3 port. That means this port have one IP address and this port have another IP address. These two interface IP address will be in different network. This interface network is this one and this interface network is this one. This is called the layer 3 interface. For layer 3 interface, if you want to communicate one network to another network, need routing protocol. See here, LAN interface and one interface is directly connected with firewall. So that in that case, no routing protocol is needed. But if you communicate from LAN network to internet another subnet, that should be configured routing protocol here. So layer 3 means multiple network is connected with different interfaces and you should or you have to configure routing protocol to interconnect different network. This is called the layer 3. So this is the interface type and see here Ethernet interface. So I just go to our lab. Before going to our lab, this interface may be shut down. Checking this one. The interface. Break. We go. Interface. 0 by 0. No shutdown. configure terminal and press rounds G0 to 3. No shutdown. Server on. Configure terminal interface G010. No shutdown. So IP interface like IP is 1.1. Then and ICMP, yes, it's working. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so tap interface, just selecting Ethernet 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is the LAN interface here. Ethernet 1 by 2. This is the layer 2 switch. Firewall LAN side interface is tap interface. This interface send the net flow request to the net flow server and port mirroring the switch and collecting the appropriate traffic from that respected interface. If you configure the Palo Alto firewall interface as a tap interface, just select the interface, select the interface, and interface type is tab. Interface type is tab. That's it. Security zone, you can select the security zone. So in tab interface, actually this need another supporting server to check the tab, just sending the tab interface traffic and analyze the remote server. So this facility is not ready here. I will check the next interface type. Next interface type is virtual WAN, but tab interface is working like a net flow collector interface. Okay.
It will just replicate the traffic of another interface. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Tap interface will replicate the traffic of another interface
Replicate
is
traffic from one interface and send
to this tap interface.
to the tab interface.
Yes. Okay.
Just consider here, it's maybe like this. You are just connecting one monitoring system here. This port is example Ethernet 1 by 3, 1 by 3. Okay, this interface, you just collect this interface traffic from this interface. This interface configured with the interface type is type interface.
So ether 1/3 will be the tap interface,
Right. Ethernet 1 by 3 is the type interface.
and it will replicate the traffic of 1/2, 1/2
Mhm.
interface.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So I will discuss first virtual wire. I already share what is virtual wire. Now I configure the virtual wire. For virtual wire, this Ethernet 1 by 2 and this Ethernet 1 by 1, or you can take another interface here. Uh, okay, if I take another interface, I can also take this one. Just shut it down. For checking the virtual wire, I just connecting to PC to node, and this will be the SRV PC single interface. Then okay, PC 6 and 7. Just connect Ethernet 1 by 3. This device have only 3 interface. Edit 8. Save. One by 3, gig 0 by 0. And another interface is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 and gig 0 by 0. Consider here interface Ethernet 1 by 3 and 1 by 4. I choose here one subnet, and subnet 1 IP will be here, like subnet 192.168.11.10/24 or 11.11, and another IP will be here. This is 11.12. I configure the Ethernet 1 by 3 and Ethernet 1 by 4 as a virtual wire, and if PC6 and PC7 communicate through the firewall, then your virtual wire configuration has done. So checking this one, start. Mhm.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the virtual
Mm,
warfare. One of my friends told me that if I configure war,
mm,
actually he told about the virtual warfare in FortiGate firewall. He
mm.
told me that if I configure virtual warfare, when the device will be shut down or dead, the connection will be still running or something. They will communicate between two end. Is it possible or two?
You mean your firewall device has shut
Is
down?
shut down,
Uh, if your
and
device has shut down, PC6 will not communicate with PC7. This is the normal case, right?
but he told me that if we configure virtual warfare, it will communicate. And this is the use case of virtual warfare. He told me, though I am not sure about his statement.
Virtualer is basically you combine two interfaces in that's it. If your device goes down, your communication will be wrong. It's very normal. Okay.
Okay, bro.
And interface just I configured here PC6 interface IP and show IP interface brave. This interface IP is this one and go to PC7. No, and again, PC7 interface J0 restriction IP address. Here IP address 192.168.11.12 slash 24 check here if you send any request just self-testing if you send request to call it will not work okay so IP interface with but you have already configured the IP but you cannot reach okay. So by default, this Palo Alto device interface type is tab. That's why it will not work. Just checking. 192.168. So the admin. First, go to the network section, and click the interfaces. I use here Ethernet 1x3 and Ethernet 1x4. These two interfaces, Ethernet 1x3 and Ethernet 1x4. Okay. So click the Ethernet 1x3. This is select the interface type is layer 3. I will change this one. Configure the virtual wire. Okay. Ethernet 1x4. Interface type should be virtual. Select this one, virtual. Okay. So first step, interface type should be virtual one. Can comment this one, validate comment.
So there will be no IP, there will be assigned
There
no
will be
IP.
no IP address. There will be no layer 2 and layer 3 protocol.
It will work like a switch or bridging
Layer 1, like a layer 1.
layer one. Okay.
You just connect one port to another port like a cable. Okay.
Okay.
No layer 2 consideration, no layer 3
So
consideration.
where PC6 can PC7 can ping PC7 without any policy, security policy.
No, need policy.
Oh,
Without policy, they cannot communicate.
okay, okay.
Okay. So this two interface is in virtual wire interface type. If you just check, send again, this will not communicate. This will not communicate. Need policy to allow the traffic. Okay.
Okay.
Second, step one, you have to set the interface type is virtual wire. Step one. Step two, you have to create a zone for virtual wire. Like I configure here V wire, WIRE, V wire zone, V wire zone, V wire zone. And here type should be virtual wire. Type should be virtual wire. This is the zone configuration. Okay. You have to create one zone. Type should be virtual wire. Okay. Then, okay. See here, no interface is in this zone. Okay. So back to the interfaces. Select the interface which is in virtual wire, and select the security zone. Security zone will be wire, virtual wire zone. Done. Another Ethernet 1/4. The zone will be virtual wire. Fine. That's good. So this is the virtual wire zone. Okay. Step 2. Then see here interface and third option, no, fourth option, fourth line, virtual wire. Select the virtual wire and add virtual wire. Set the name of virtual wire, virtual WIRE 1. And which interface will participate in virtual wire? Interface 1 is Ethernet 1/3, interface 1/4. Okay. If
Is
you
it
yeah,
is it possible to you use multiple interface, more than two interface in virtual WebPair? More than
no,
two interface.
it's not allowed here. Okay, we'll check. I think 2 is maximum, but check. Tap the virtual or this is the tap interface. Virtual wire. A virtual wire interface is used to pass traffic through a firewall by binding to Ethernet interfaces. No, more than 2, not allowed.
Only for two
Allow traffic to
interface.
pass between them. Okay, more than 2,
Okay.
not allowed. 2 virtual interfaces. Okay, so go to the virtual wire section, create or add one virtual wire. Virtual wire name is, you can define any name here, and select the virtual interface who is already defined. Okay, then click the OK button. So step 3 done. Step 4, need policy to allow the traffic between virtual wire interface Ethernet 1/3 to Ethernet 1/4. Before policy, we can check here. See here? No. No communication is established here. So go to the policy section and create a new policy. This is for virtual wire policy. Virtual wire policy. Virtual wire policy. Virtual wire policy. And source is add the wire zone. Source is virtual wire zone and destination zone will be virtual wire zone. Okay, and your action will be other setting will be default and action will be allow. Then set the OK. Then commit, check, validate commit. Your configuration is okay or not. Okay, configuration is valid. And close, then commit. Configuration committed successfully, then close, then check PC6. Get it? Understand? Virtual wire.
রিয়েল লাইফে কি এর কোথাও ইউজ আছে পাইছেন কোথাও?
হ্যাঁ, of course. ভার্চুয়াল ওয়্যার মানে ভার্চুয়াল ওয়্যার যেটা বলছে যে আমরা বললাম যে দুইটা টু ইন্টারফেস উইল কমিউনিকেট উইথ ইচ আদার উইদাউট এনি লেয়ার 2 and layer 3 information. হ্যাঁ, so now here no IP or MAC address are assigned to virtual wire interfaces. No routing or switching is done on a virtual wire interfaces. Okay, number one. Number two, virtual wire interface is in a virtual wire zone. Virtual 2 interface will be virtual wire zone. This can be in same zone or can be in different zone. If different zone, you have to permit one zone to another zone traffic through the policy. If and just your virtual wire interface in same zone, so you need also interzone traffic policy. I already create the policy and allow the traffic of wire zone, virtual wire zone. Source zone, virtual wire zone, and destination is virtual wire zone, and traffic is allowed. So need policy. Without policy, it will not communicate. So this all about the virtual wire. This is the configuration snap. Okay. We already configured this one. Interface type is virtual wire and zone is virtual wire zone. You can configure sub interface. You can configure virtual wire sub interface like physical interface sub interface as a layer 3 interface. Virtual wire interface, then you can add VLAN interface like this. Okay. Virtual aggregate. Okay. And then virtual are done. Then layer 2 interface. Layer 2 interface. Layer 2. Layer virtual wire. Then layer 2 interface. And layer 2 interface. Switching between two networks. Yes, layer 2 interface. If you configure this firewall port, Palo Alto firewall port as a layer 2 port, just configure Ethernet 1x3 and Ethernet 1x4 as a layer 2 port. But you configure these two interface in layer 2 port, but need policy to intercommunicate from one port to another port. Need policy. So in that case, see here, layer 2 interfaces are used to switch traffic between other layer 2 interfaces. Before switching can take place, each layer 2 must have assigned to VLAN object. Assignment of interface that belong to the same VLAN but exist in different layer 2 zones enables you to analyze, shape, manage, decrypt of the traffic. That means, say this is the firewall. This firewall interface is connect with another switch. This is the internet zone, and another zone is another interface is another zone. This is the inside zone. So you need policy to allow traffic from inside zone to internet zone. So how to create this one? Just network VLAN add. Just create a VLAN and available layer 2 interfaces. After creating the VLAN, just selecting the interface, and interface type will be the layer 2, and VLAN you already create here my VLAN. This VLAN ID will be user defined. You can define any VLAN ID. Is the layer 2 sub interfaces here. Layer 2 sub interface means consider one layer 2 interface. One layer 2 interface can communicate with single VLAN if it's untagged. If it's tagged, this interface will communicate with the multiple VLAN. Okay, so in that case, just consider here when one layer 2 interface is communicate with the multiple VLAN. So this is the VLAN ID. So this is the sub interface consideration, and this is the next is the layer 3 interface. So for layer 2 perspective, there is two steps. One step is you have to create the VLAN object. You have to create the VLAN object, and then this VLAN object is assigned to the physical interfaces. So this is the step 1. If I check this one, this is the step 1. VLAN, network VLAN, then add. Used to create a layer 3 VLAN interface allowing routing between VLANs. That means here we don't set any VLAN interface or VLAN ID. Just you set the one name, user defined name, and select the available layer 2 interfaces here. This is how, and this is the way to create the VLAN object. This is the way to create the VLAN object. Okay. After creating the VLAN object, select the physical interface, and interface type will be the layer 2, and assign the interface to VLAN object, and create a zone for communicate layer 2 packet, to communicate the layer 2 packet. So this is the 2 step. So just go on lab. I delete this one, virtual one deleted. Then go to network section. This is the virtual one, that means select, then delete. I delete the virtual configuration. Then virtual zone, I deleted this one. Okay, and interfaces 1 by 3. Interface 1 by 3 will be, interface type will be layer 2. Interface type will be layer 2. This is step 1. Select Ethernet 1 by 4. Interface type will be the layer 2. It's okay. So step 1, you set the interface type. Interface type is layer 2. Okay. Second step, you have to create the VLAN object. You have to create the VLAN object. How to create this one? Just go to the VLAN section and add the VLAN and create a VLAN object. VLAN object 1, and add the interfaces here. Your layer 2 interface is layer Ethernet 1/3 and Ethernet 1/4. So this is the VLAN object name and add the layer 2 interface. In our layer, the layer 2 interface is Ethernet 1/3 and Ethernet 1/4. Then press the OK button. So this step has done. This step has done. Okay. Then again, go to the physical interfaces before going to go to the physical interfaces. You have to create the security zone for VLAN communication. So just go to the zone section and go to the zone section. Create one zone. Zone will be layer 2 zone, J-O-N-E, layer 2 zone. And this interface type should be layer 2, okay? Or you can add here this interface here, okay? You can add, no need. So create the zone is layer 2 zone. Okay, then go to the interfaces and click the Ethernet interface 1/3, which is in layer 2 interface type, and set the security zone is layer 2 zone. Okay. Okay. So security zone has selected. Check the security zone, layer 2 zone, VLAN object 1, the security zone already selected. Layer 2 and security zone is layer 2 zone. Layer 2 zone security I already created here, and 2 interface is in layer 2 security zone, Ethernet 1/3 and Ethernet 1/4. Now commit the configuration, validate the commit. Your configuration syntax is okay or not. Configuration is valid, then close, then commit your configuration. Configuration committed successfully, then close and check ping from PC6, enable, show IP interface with IP is 1.12 and PC6 ping the 1.12 IP address. Get the ping, right? It's working. Okay. If you configure Palo Alto interface as a layer 2, you need basically 2 steps. One step is you have to configure the VLAN object in VLAN section. In VLAN object, you have to select the VLAN object name and you have to select the layer 2 interfaces which will be participate in layer 2 domain. Step 1. Step 2, you have to create the layer 2 zone. In layer 2 zone, you have to set the layer 2 zone name and the interface type is layer 2 and you can add here layer 2 interfaces. Step 2. And last step is you go to the interface and physical interfaces, interface type should be layer 2 and you have to assign the VLAN object and security zone. This is the third step. If you want to configure Palo Alto interface as a layer 2 interface, this is the 3 step you have to complete. After completing the 3 step, your connected device will communicate with another device, and Palo Alto port is working as a layer 2 port. Clear?
Clear way.
Okay. And another is this is the layer 2 interface. I will come in sub interface later. Okay. And next is layer 3 interface. I already shared the layer 3 interface, how to configure the layer 3 interface and how to communicate one interface address to another interface. Need any layer for layer 3 interfaces? Already we have done, right? We have already done. Need management profile to checking the ICMP and set the IP address in layer 3 interfaces. Set the IP address and layer 3 interfaces. You can create the virtual router, or you can set the default virtual router to communicate. And interface type should be layer 3. And this is layer 3 sub interface. This is very important for us. This is one interface. That means you have a LAN segment here. This LAN segment have multiple VLANs, and this multiple VLAN have multiple network, and those have multiple gateway. So this Palo Alto firewall interface is single interface. So you have to sub interface this physical interface. Then every sub interface will work as a gateway of every or is subnet. So today I would like to finish now. Next class we will discuss layer 3 sub interfaces and other interface type like LSCP or aggregate interface like this. Okay. So up to now, any question? What just working?
ট্র্যাপ যেটা ভাইয়া, ওটা তো ভাইয়া যে মনিটরিং করবো, ওটা আলাদা কোনো ডিভাইসে করতে হবে?
Okay, I just